How's it going, everyone? ItzKbo here and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my first actual player review of the year. I haven't done one of these yet. A lot of people have asked for them. I'm going to be doing Roberto Carlos, the 86 one that you can get for icon swaps, of course. I'm going to be talking about his price, how you should get him. Most of you will, of course, get him through the swaps. And just how you should use him, if he's got strengths and weaknesses, and just stuff like that, really. So we're going to be starting off with his price. So we're talking about 579k on the PlayStation and 525k on the Xbox, a little cheaper on the Xbox. He's quite an expensive player, so we'll show you some similar ones in a second. But of course, most of you are going to be getting him by getting those 11 icon swaps tokens, which is easily accessible to most of you because that's under half of the ones available. So before we get into Carlos' stats and whatever, I'm going to show you some similar players as well as some chemistry links. So players that I think are quite similar in feel, in stats, that kind of thing, not really based on links. Although the first one, which is Telles, is of course a Brazilian left back. All of these are left backs. He's a little bit slower. Dribbling is actually the same. Defending is only 1 off and physical is only 2 off. Passing is significantly better on Telles, but he can't shoot as well. Alba is a very similar one in the defensive aspect. So he's got 90 pace, which is of course quick. Carlos just about gets past him on that though. His dribbling is slightly better. The defending is around the same as his passing. Those two are just a little bit off. That doesn't really matter. And 73 physical is a bit less. I think that's mainly in the stamina aspect of it. And our last one, Luca Digne. He's a little bit slower, but apart from that, he's a very similar card. So if you put a chemistry style that adds pace to Digne, I think they'd be very similar cards if you get one of the plus 10s. So that would be like 80 dribbling compared to 81, just difference of 2 in the defending. Physical is actually the same. Digne's a little bit of a better passer. So of course Carlos is better than these players, but they are like the cheaper kind of budget options, although they're not all that cheap. And in addition to those, I always have some links. So these are ones that you could use. I'm going to do all Brazilian because well, Carlos links to everyone. So I'm going to do strong links only for this. So Neymar, of course, you can have that down the left wing to left back. That is a strong link in certain formations. You'd only need one other link. So you could just make a triangle with another Brazilian or even just a Ligue 1 player or whatever. And I just think that is a very expensive one, but it's a very good one actually. And the next one is a little cheaper. Well, actually it's a lot cheaper, but the player is, I'd say, almost just as good. Eder Militao, to have this Brazilian link at the back would be very, very nice. Of course, Militao is a very cheap player. I believe he's around 6k on the PlayStation at the moment. Not too sure for Xbox, but he's very strong. Very pacey, hard to get past, and you can make a triangle using those two with Alan, who's another one I'm going to point out. He's a little expensive, but he's a really good card. 70s at least for every stat. There's not much else I need to say about him. Another player you could use maybe instead of Alan if you want to go down a Premier League route is Fabinho. Of course, you get the strong link there. You could still use Militao, maybe branch off into the other league there. He's a little slower. He's a bit more defensive minded than Alan, but he's yet again a player you can link to Roberto Carlos. So now moving on to the player himself, I'm going to be talking about his strengths and weaknesses, starting with a big one, which is the fact that he's an all-rounder. He can do anything. You just need to look at his card really to know that. A few clips of him here, of course, just cutting stuff out and then getting a pass off or whatever. I was actually impressed with his passing, but we can talk about that later. It's just like things you don't really expect, but then you really appreciate. Stuff like his control is very nice. Yeah, his range of passing, of course. And it's just the whole combination of stats is what really helps him just be my favourite left back of the game. I'll say it now. It's just his ball winning ability, which isn't really down to a certain stat. It's just down to everything really. We can go into a bit more depth on some of the other stats, so of course we will in a second. But one that everyone knows about Roberto Carlos, which I of course have to say, is his free kicks. The movement on them is just, it's mad, as you're going to see now. So this was one that I just tried out. I just hit this one basically straight on to see how much movement was on it. This was the first one. I saw his goalie move, but I decided just to hit it anyway, see if it moved the other side of him. And you could just see it moved a lot in the air there. Another one, this was a few games in. I only had about 3 or 4 free kick opportunities with him so far, so we haven't really got any really good goals to look at. But yeah, this one went in. This is, I believe, my favourite free kick so far. It has to be. Just look at it. Look at it. That's classic Roberto Carlos with the outsides of the boot. I did score another one with him though, but he obviously wasn't as good as that. Just trademark Roberto Carlos. He will do it in game, and opponents are just scared of it. They kind of don't give you free kicks as much because they know about Roberto Carlos, and it can really intimidate them when you know that he could do stuff like that if they give you a free kick on the edge of the area. So another stat that really stood out for me was actually his pace. Of course it's 92, but I didn't actually expect him to feel as quick as he did. So you can see here, Alan St. Maximin, he's having a bit of a run with it. It's had a basic chemistry style on him, by the way. I'll go into that later. just manages to mop stuff up. It also helps him just get on the edge of rebounds like that. Maybe if he wasn't as quick when he got there. His positioning, of course, comes into play with the rebounds as well. You can see him here just keeping up with Lucas Moore on time in a very nice tackle, getting it away. Ball playing ability with the passing coming into that yet again. This one that was actually against, I believe, Adama Traore. Yeah, that's the Scream Traore. Of course, he is rapid. Carlos was having none of it, though. Just stopping him in his tracks. And he is actually a very good player for stopping those meta right wingers, ones like the Sergi Gnabry, Saint Maximin, and, of course, that Traore, which is horrible to play against. You can just see another one here against Traore. Traore should be past him there, but Carlos manages to recover. A lot of left-backs wouldn't have been able to do that. And you can see here, he actually stops a goal rather than getting a tackle in, and it was just so surprising and so pleasant to see his pace save me in quite a few occasions. So now we're moving on to something I've actually talked about a bit already, which is, of course, the dribbling. Very pleasant surprise here. Just after he wins the ball back, the way he carries it out, I really actually liked. I was looking at 80 dribbling, I didn't think it'd be that good, but he actually gets into the opposition half. Drag backs are very, very effective with him, I don't know why, but I really like dragging it back with Roberto Carlos. Of course that is meta with most players, but it just feels very nice with him. And you see him here just carrying it forwards and just getting the pass off, and then I've got a bit of an opportunity to score. And he actually creates opportunities, whipping in corners as well. But we're actually focusing on the defensive part of the corners here. Look at the composure here, just carry it out and then play it off. And of course, as I just mentioned, his crossing ability as well, both for corners and just whipping it in the box. He likes using both sides of his foot as well. His weak foot isn't brilliant, but his strong foot really makes up for it, so you can cross it either way using the outside quite a lot. You can see here, dribbling coming into play again as he makes it down the line. And just holding off as well, which actually surprised me. That was against St Maximin, but it's the end of this dribble. The cross was top quality, and somehow Coleman managed to put it wide. Our headers are bad this year, so crossing isn't as important, but of course you can still score. It really is, the players have to be unmarked, which is a bit strange. Another one here, put in with the outsides of the boot, as I was just talking about. This one was a little close to the keeper, I do believe. Well, it was just at no one, not too close to the keeper, but it wasn't brilliant. I was actually very happy to see that cross did come out and it ended up in a goal. This one was the one that went close to the keeper. Outside of the boot again, it's just that one wasn't brilliant. From corners, you see just corners are a little bit inconsistent this year, but when you do manage to find a bit of space, you can get it on a player's head, which he does quite often. If you find that space at the front post, they should do better there yet again. And his crosses are brilliant. So of course, as you can see coming up on the screen now, we need to talk about weaknesses as well. Most of these aren't very, very obvious. Like the strength, it only happens sometimes. Most of the time he's very strong, but you can see he just gets bodied by Pepe, which is a bit weird. Most of the time he is strong, you can use a chemistry style to fix that. His aggression as well, sometimes he is a bit reluctant to block crosses. That isn't too common, but it's just like the strength, it just happens sometimes. It's not too big of an issue. Freestyle skills is a bit annoying. He is Brazilian, you'd expect him to have that flair. You can still do some very good ones though, like lateral heel chop or whatever it's called. You can also do, of course, the heel to heel, ball roll, stuff like that is still easily accessible for him. Of course, drag backs and strafe dribbling too. And his height can be a problem. It hasn't been for me. His jumping is good. He's actually headed away a few corners, but some people do not like players that are only 5'6". So now something else I want to talk about actually, because now you've seen the strengths and weaknesses, you know what to make of him, is actually what chemistry style you should use on him. So I just started with him on basic, and that is what I liked. It makes him hooligan, of course it makes him quicker, he's got like 95 pace then, everything else is just up a bit. It does buff his physical and defending. I'd say most of it doesn't need buffing. His stamina is also very good already. I didn't talk about that in the strength, so I'll just add that in now. Very, very nice stamina, I do love it. He's not very tired often, but enough about that, just the rest of the stats. Basic is a very nice one. You could do something more attacking if you want to play more attacking. I'll talk about tactics in just a second. Anchor is one that I'd recommend. I've also tried this. I really like this one because physical and defending, his two stand out. Not poor stats, they're not poor, but just slightly worse stats because obviously he's so good. And this really makes him an even more complete left back using the anchor. So that's what I've got on him now. 90 defending and also the 83 physical, which is very, very nice. 97 pace makes him even quicker. Of course, that's only one less than Adama has. Even though he did keep up to Adama already. That could mean that he literally keeps up to everything if you add an anchor to him. Sentinel is another one. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit this on the card properly, all of the stats, so you can't see it. But the 92 pace and all that stays the same. But it just means that he's got 91 defending, which is ridiculous. That's a plus 10 and also even better physical with the 86. So, of course, your chemistry style, You have to have 10 chemistry on him, which you will have as long as he's in position, as he is an icon. Some people don't understand how chemistry styles work completely. They are consumables. I'll just add that in for people that are perhaps new to FIFA. And last thing I'm going to talk about, I haven't got any graphics for it here, but it actually is the tactics to use on him. So he's actually one that you could use on any of the 3 main settings for a defender. So join the attack, of course. If you're playing a 5-back, that's more recommended. I am playing him in a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, and he's very good for me there. He's linking at the moment, I believe, to screen PK as the centre back. They have quite a good partnership. So if you want to leave him on step back while attacking, which is what I do, that is good, because of course at the end of the day he is a left back, and you can buy some better attacking players if you really want to. If you want to put him on balance, that is also fine. He does seem to not get back all the time on balance. He's there most of the time now. His pace kind of adds up to him getting back most of the time, as he has got a high work rate in the attacking half, but only medium in defensive, which can cause a few issues, but it's not really that noticeable. And if you put him on join the attack, I'm just going to say he probably won't get back, so you can play him there if you're playing a 5-back. That's perhaps recommended, but not on a 4-back. That is the last thing I've got to say about Roberto Carlos, guys. If you've got anything else you want to know about him, if you just ask me a question in the comments, I'll try and get back to you the best I can. If you've got any other players, actually, that you would like me to do, perhaps cheaper players, or maybe another icon swap, or a challenge player like that Milestone Politano that's just come out, also give me just a comment there and I can see. Like this video because I want to know if you enjoyed it, if it was helpful to you, who you're doing from icon swaps. I'd say Carlos is definitely the best value one, just 11 for him as I mentioned earlier. And yeah, just subscribe if you want to see more of these, along with the SBC tutorials, streams, rewards, just stuff like that. Of course, there's all players for them. This will be the first video on my player review playlist, and that's got to be it, guys. So thank you very much for all of you that have watched this video, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Until then, goodbye.